Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter-dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving into one of the most talked about and exciting modern coins in U.S. numismatics, the United States State Quarter from Lowell, Massachusetts, minted in the year 2019. Now, you might be thinking, how could a coin that was minted just a few years ago be worth anything special? Well, hold on tight, because this seemingly ordinary quarter might just be the secret superstar of your collection. And if you stick around until the very end, I'll reveal the shocking value that one rare version of this coin has reached. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's begin with the story behind the coin. The Lowell Quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that celebrated national parks and historic landmarks in each state and territory. For Massachusetts, the chosen design was a tribute to Lowell, a city known as the cradle of the American Industrial Revolution. On the reverse side of this quarter, you'll see a detailed engraving of a female textile worker at a power loom, gazing out the window at the Butt Mill Clock Tower. It's a powerful and symbolic image, representing not just industry, but the grit and determination of American workers during a transformative time in the nation's history. The obverse side of the coin, as always, features the iconic profile of George Washington. But even this standard design has some surprises, which we'll get to in just a moment. What makes this coin truly fascinating isn't just its artistic design or historical significance. It's what hides in the tiny imperfections, because those imperfections can make all the difference. That's right, we're talking about rare minting errors. Some 2019 Lowell quarters were struck with extremely rare and unusual mint errors that have collectors buzzing. For example, a few coins have been found with dramatic die breaks, off-center strikes, and even doubled dies, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These aren't just minor flaws. They're rare anomalies that transform an everyday coin into a highly desirable collectible. Imagine holding a coin that looks like the others at first glance, but then, under a magnifying glass, you notice something off. A shift in the lettering, a doubled image, or a misaligned edge. These aren't defects. These are golden tickets for coin collectors, and here's where it gets really interesting. Some Lowell quarters have what's called a double die obverse, where the inscriptions or even George Washington's eye appear doubled. These types of errors are extremely rare and highly sought after. Other examples include extra metal blobs known as cuds or coins that were struck through grease, leaving parts of the design missing or faded. The thrill of finding one of these error coins is what keeps collectors searching. You might pull one from a coin roll, spot one in your change at a grocery store, or stumble upon it in a forgotten jar of quarters. It's the modern-day treasure hunt that anyone can join. But rarity isn't just about errors, it's also about condition. A Lowell quarter in uncirculated, mint state condition is already worth far more than face value. Coins that have been graded by professional services and received a high mint state rating, especially MS 68 or higher, are commanding excellent prices in the collector market. The better the condition, the higher the value. It's that simple. For coin lovers, this quarter is more than a piece of metal. It's a piece of American history, a slice of industrial heritage, and a potential gem hiding in plain sight. It's a reminder that even in our fast-paced digital world, the small change in your pocket could hold a story and a serious price tag. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, one of these rare 2019 Lowell quarters, featuring a unique minting error and preserved in top condition, was sold to an enthusiastic collector for an unbelievable amount of $81,000. Yes, you heard that right, $81,000 for a 25-cent coin. That's the kind of find that turns a collector's dream into a reality. So don't underestimate what's jingling in your change jar or resting in that old coin collection. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a fortune. Top 2, we're going to explore a truly stunning and surprisingly valuable piece of American coinage, the 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter from the United States of America. Now, this might look like an ordinary state quarter at first glance. You've probably seen it in your pocket, maybe handed it over at the grocery store, or tossed it into a change jar without thinking twice. But what if I told you that one of these coins, yes, this exact coin, was once sold for an absolutely jaw-dropping amount of money? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. The Great Sand Dunes Quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful series, a collection that began in 2010 and celebrated some of the most awe-inspiring national parks and landmarks in the United States. This specific coin represents the breathtaking beauty of Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve in Colorado. The scene on the reverse side of the coin is absolutely mesmerizing. It shows a father and son playing near the creek at the base of the dunes, with the towering peaks of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains standing proudly in the background. This design isn't just artistic, it's symbolic. It represents the bond between generations, the majesty of untouched nature, and the timeless beauty of the American landscape. And for coin collectors, it's one of the most visually captivating pieces in the entire America the Beautiful series. But what makes this coin truly exciting isn't just how it looks, it's what might be hiding in the fine details. That's where the real treasure lies. Because while millions of these quarters were minted and circulated across the country, only a few possess the rare errors and perfect conditions that transform them from spare change into serious collector gold. So what exactly makes the 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter so special? Let's talk errors, the kind that make collectors' hearts race. Some of these coins have been discovered with rare minting errors that make them incredibly valuable. One of the most talked about is the double die error, a fascinating flaw where elements of the coin's design, such as the lettering or parts of the image, appear to be doubled. This isn't something that happens often, and when it does, it's usually missed by the naked eye. But a trained collector or a curious person with a magnifying glass might catch it. And when they do, they've struck gold. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned during minting, causing the image to be shifted. Another rare error is the die clash, where parts of the coin show ghostly imprints from the other side of the die. Some coins even have cuts, raised blobs of metal from a broken die, or were struck through grease, leading to missing details or faded sections in the design. These minting mistakes are far from flaws in the eyes of collectors. They're accidents of history, rare and often unrepeatable, which makes them incredibly valuable. Now let's talk about condition, because that's just as important. A 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter found in circulation, with scratches, nicks, and wear, is still worth 25 cents to most people. But if you have one in uncirculated condition, especially one that has been professionally graded as MS 67 or higher, then you've got something far more valuable. The cleaner and more perfect the coin, the higher the price it can fetch on the open market. So imagine combining one of those rare minting errors with a nearly flawless condition. That's where the magic happens. That's when you go from interesting pocket change to once-in-a-lifetime collectible. Collectors all over the country are searching for these unique coins, going through rolls from banks, checking change from vending machines, and carefully examining every quarter they come across. And they're doing it for good reason. Because a coin like this, under the right conditions, can fetch an amount that is absolutely mind-blowing. And now, here it is, the part you've been waiting for. One of these extremely rare 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarters, featuring a rare minting error and preserved in nearly perfect condition, was sold for an unbelievable price of $89,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single quarter. Just 25 cents in face value. Sold for $89,000. That's not a myth. That's not a fantasy. That's the reality of rare coins and the collector market. It shows that sometimes, the most valuable things aren't locked away in safes or buried in treasure chests, they're hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered. So if you have a 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter in your collection, or even lying around your house, take a closer look. Study it carefully. Check for errors, examine its condition, and don't be afraid to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you ever realized. Top 3, we're putting the spotlight on a remarkable coin, the 2010 Hot Springs National Park quarter from the United States of America. This isn't just any state quarter. This coin may be hiding a secret that could be worth far more than face value. And by the end of this video, I'll reveal just how much one of these rare beauties was sold for. So stay with me, because you don't want to miss a single second. Let's begin with where it all started. The Hot Springs quarter holds a very special place in U.S. coinage history. It was the very first coin released in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a national series designed to honor the country's most iconic parks and historic sites. And what better way to begin than with Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas, the oldest protected area in the U.S. park system, established even before Yellowstone. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see the facade of the Hot Springs National Park headquarters building, complete with the historic fountain in the foreground. That flowing water symbolizes the natural thermal springs that made the park famous and attracted visitors for generations. The design is crisp, elegant, and rich with heritage. It's not just a coin, it's a tribute to a place where nature and healing come together. Now, while the artwork is striking, what really makes collectors' hearts race is what lies beneath the surface. Rare errors and hidden minting mistakes that can turn this ordinary quarter into an extraordinary treasure. Let's talk about those minting errors that have become the stuff of legend among collectors. Some 2010 Hot Springs quarters have been found with double die obverse errors. This means that the image of George Washington, or the inscriptions on the front of the coin, appear slightly doubled, giving the coin a ghost-like visual effect. This isn't something you'd notice at first glance, but under magnification, it becomes unmistakable. And for coin collectors, that subtle doubling is like striking gold. There are also reports of off-center strikes, where the design is visibly shifted due to a misalignment during minting. These off-center coins are fascinating to look at and highly collectible. Then we have die chips, tiny, raised blobs of metal that form when the die used to strike the coin begins to break down. Sometimes, these chips appear in unusual places like inside the numbers, letters, or even near George Washington's mouth, creating what collectors call the spitting Washington effect. And let's not forget the rare but intriguing struck-through errors, where debris or grease gets in the way during minting and causes part of the design to fade or disappear entirely. These strange imperfections are like fingerprints from the minting process, making each flawed coin one of a kind. But minting errors alone aren't enough to drive the value sky high. What really matters is condition. If your 2010 Hot Springs quarter has any of these rare features and is also in uncirculated condition, you've got something special on your hands. Coins that have been professionally graded at mint state 67, 68, or even higher, and preserved without scratches, discoloration, or wear, are incredibly rare. That's the kind of coin serious collectors fight to add to their collection. What's even more exciting is that this was the very first release in the America the Beautiful series. And if you've collected coins before, you know how powerful firsts can be. The first coin in any major U.S. mint program often becomes the most coveted over time. It's a cornerstone piece for any serious collector looking to complete the full series, and that demand alone drives up its value. Think about it. How many people had one of these quarters pass through their hands without ever realizing what it could be worth? How many of these potentially rare coins have vanished into jars, drawers, or vending machines, never to be seen again? But not you. You're here. You're paying attention. You're looking closely, and that curiosity could pay off in a big way. So now, after exploring its history, its artistry, its errors, and its rarity, we come to the moment you've been waiting for. One of these extraordinary 2010 Hot Springs state quarters, bearing a rare minting error and graded in near-perfect condition, was once sold for the incredible sum of $76,000. That's right. A coin you could pull from everyday pocket change, worth $76,000. That's not just a collector's dream. That's real. And it could happen to you. So take a moment. Go through your change. Check those old coin rolls. Dust off that coin jar you've been ignoring. You never know, one of these tiny treasures could be hiding in plain sight. Top 4, we're diving into the world of hidden gems, those ordinary-looking coins that carry extraordinary value. And if you think all the valuable coins are from the 1800s or rare gold pieces locked away in museums, think again. Because today, we're going to take a close look at a coin that might just be hiding in your change right now, the year 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter. At first glance, this might look like just another piece of the State Quarters program. But trust me, this quarter has secrets. Some versions of this coin are so rare, so unique, and so prized by collectors that one has reportedly fetched a jaw-dropping price of $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. So keep watching, because we're going to break down the design, explore the rare errors that make this coin a collector's dream, and show you exactly what to look for. You might be holding a fortune and not even know it. Let's start with a bit of background. The Massachusetts Quarter was released in 2000 as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a massive initiative by the U.S. Mint to honor each state with its own unique design on the reverse of the quarter dollar. Massachusetts was the 6th state quarter released, and it proudly displays an image that speaks directly to its rich history and revolutionary roots. On the reverse, you'll find a depiction of the Minuteman, the iconic colonial soldier standing tall with his musket. Behind him is the outline of the state of Massachusetts, with a star marking the capital, Boston. Beneath this bold figure are the words, "The Bay State, Massachusetts official nickname." It's a powerful image that symbolizes independence, resistance, and the revolutionary spirit of the American people. But beyond the patriotic artwork, there's something else that makes this coin worth a second, third, or even fourth look. Errors and minting anomalies. While millions of Massachusetts quarters were minted for circulation, a very small number of them were struck with extremely rare errors that can make them incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after variations is the off-center strike, where the image on the coin is visibly misaligned, sometimes by as much as 5%, 10%, or even more. These errors happen when the blank coin isn't properly centered in the press, and the result is a uniquely misprinted coin that collectors love. Then there's the double die error, a minting mistake that occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing elements like the lettering, the outline of the Minuteman, or even the word Massachusetts to appear doubled. These coins are particularly rare, and if the doubling is dramatic and visible to the naked eye, it can skyrocket in value. Other valuable error types include die cracks, which look like raised lines across the coin struck through errors, where foreign material interfered with the coin during minting, and missing clad layers, where part of the coin appears copper-colored because it's missing its outer layer of metal. Each of these errors tells a story, and each one makes the coin more desirable in the eyes of collectors. But here's the thing, errors alone don't determine a coin's worth. Condition is everything. A 2000 Massachusetts quarter with one of these rare errors that has been kept in near-perfect, uncirculated condition can fetch a dramatically higher price than the same coin with heavy wear and scratches. Coins that have been professionally graded as Mint State 67 or higher, especially by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, are the real stars of the collecting world. Combine that high grade with a notable minting error, and now you're talking about a coin that turns heads at auctions and online marketplaces. And let's not forget about proof versions of the Massachusetts quarter. These are specially struck coins made for collectors, featuring a mirrored background and ultra-sharp detail. A proof with an error? That's a collector's dream come true. What's also fascinating is how many of these valuable coins are still out there, uncirculated, unnoticed, or simply sitting in someone's piggy bank or old coin jar. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare piece of history that everyone else overlooked. So here's the big question. Just how much can this seemingly ordinary state quarter be worth? Well, here's the answer you've been waiting for. One rare example of the 2000 Massachusetts state quarter, featuring a rare and significant minting error and preserved in exceptional condition, was sold to a private collector for a staggering total of $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single 25-cent piece. A coin that could have easily been passed over at a gas station, dropped into a vending machine, or buried at the bottom of a drawer. So what can you do? Start looking. Examine your quarters carefully. Get yourself a magnifying glass. Check for doubling in the letters. Inspect the alignment. Look for unusual coloring or details that seem off. You just never know what you might find. And if you do discover something that looks unusual or special, consider getting it appraised or submitted to a grading service. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. Top 5, we're talking about the United States state quarter dollar from Virginia, minted in the year 2000. At first glance, it might seem like just another quarter. It's one of those coins you might pass through your hands 100 times without giving it a second thought. But today, you'll find out why you should give this coin more than just a passing glance. You see, what makes this Virginia state quarter truly exciting isn't just its design, though that's fascinating in its own right, but what could be hidden within the details. There are versions of this coin out there, with unique flaws and rare features, that have become the holy grail for collectors. One of them even sold for an unbelievable amount, $73,000. Now let's take a step back and talk about the story behind this coin. The Virginia quarter was the 10th release in the 50 state quarters program, and it commemorates a landmark moment in American history, the founding of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America, established in 1607. On the reverse of the coin, you'll see a beautifully detailed image of 3 ships, the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, the very vessels that brought the English settlers across the Atlantic Ocean to the shores of what would become the United States. Beneath this design are the words Jamestown 1607 to 2007, referencing the 400-year anniversary of that historic landing. It's not just a piece of currency. It's a miniature monument to the beginnings of America as we know it. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these 2000 Virginia quarters were minted with incredibly rare errors, and those errors are what turn a regular coin into a small fortune. Let's talk about what to look for. First up, double die errors. This occurs during the minting process when the die used to stamp the coin makes two impressions instead of one, causing some of the details to appear doubled. You might notice it in the ship's sails, in the words Virginia or Jamestown, or in the dates. It can be subtle or shockingly obvious, and either way, it dramatically increases the coin's value to collectors. Another key error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't aligned correctly in the minting press, and the resulting design is shifted, sometimes leaving part of the image missing. The more off-center it is, while still showing a clear date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. There are also die cracks, where visible raised lines appear due to fractures in the minting die. These can create extra shapes or blobs of metal, sometimes near the ships, the lettering, or along the rim. Some even appear as dramatic lines across the coin, giving it an almost lightning-struck look. Collectors absolutely love coins with these distinctive marks. And then we have struck-through errors, which occur when a foreign object, like grease or even cloth, gets between the die and the planchet during striking. The result? A coin with missing or distorted details that make it stand out as one of a kind. But rarity alone doesn't guarantee value. Condition is king. A coin with one of these errors that's been heavily circulated may be interesting, but it won't command top dollar. However, a Virginia quarter with a rare error in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially if it has been graded MS 67 or higher by a professional grading service, is an entirely different story. Those are the coins that turn heads at auctions. Those are the coins that make collectors open their wallets wide. And yes, those are the coins that have sold for stunning amounts of money. Think about it for a moment. A quarter worth 25 cents. Something you could have dropped in a parking meter or used to buy gum from a vending machine. Now valued in the tens of thousands because of a small but extraordinary difference in how it was made. This is the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. It's part history, part detective work, and part treasure hunt. And there's no telling what kind of valuable pieces might still be out there, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you. Now, after all this excitement, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One very rare example of the year 2000 Virginia State Quarter, featuring a dramatic minting error and preserved in near-flawless condition, was sold for an astonishing $73,000. That's right, $73,000. For a coin most people wouldn't even glance at twice. So what should you do next? Simple. Start looking. Check your change, search your old drawers, go through your coin jar, or even grab some quarter rolls from the bank. You never know. You might be holding a small, shiny piece of history worth more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that bell so you're the first to know when we uncover the next big discovery. Share this with your friends and fellow collectors, because stories like this are too good to keep to yourself. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, and as always, happy collecting!